Calling God of War Ascension the bastard stepchild of the franchise does a disservice to all the Deus Ex 2s and Thief 3s of the world. It strikes the awkward balance between being a competently made, oftentimes invigorating gaming experience and being a cheap knockoff of itself. I've mentioned how important directing is in games with a fixed camera. It can mean the difference between getting the best shot possible and stumbling around between camera angles trying to move forward. This was perhaps the biggest strength of the prior games, but here it's a weakness. The environments are drab, Kratos is pastier than usual and will blend into the bright lights and brown stonework anytime the camera pans out even a little bit. I am aghast that a mere 3 years removed from the previous game, the same creative team that perfectly captured the size and might of Poseidon and Kronos turned the Hecatonchirus fight into a two-tone trash fire. These locales are oftentimes breathtaking, and the animations are full of little tweaks like Kratos swinging his blades upward against taller enemies, but I can only appreciate it when the cameraman deigns to let me see what I'm doing. And as creative as the levels are, the story is not. It's set mere months after Kratos slaughtered his family, and the whole plot is him finding a way to break free of the Furies and his oath to Ares. There's a few neat touches like Alecto blocking his memories of that night to make him more subservient, which might be why he thought the gods can make his memories go away. But this detail, much like the levels, is poorly conveyed, and I for one am not happy about the complete absence of Athena, the god who saw Kratos as more than a tool or a monster. Instead, we get Orcos explaining what everyone who played Ghosts of Sparta should have figured out on their own. And this is the problem with prequels. We already know where Kratos' feud with Ares is going to end up. We already know he's the prophesized Mark warrior who destroys Olympus. So why was this particular story worth telling? Why should anyone get invested in foiling Ares' plan to overthrow Olympus when everyone already knows how that's going to turn out? The secondary weapon system sucks, the magic abilities all feel too similar to each other, the elemental variants of the Blades of Chaos offer little to ameliorate the repetitive combat. I alluded to it in my review for the first game, but the combat has always been a little brain dead. Throughout most of the games, the special moves, secondary weapons, rage modes, and magic powers aren't necessary for progression as much as they are necessary to stave off boredom. Ascension does not have that going for it. Is the game irredeemable? No. Castor and Pollux offer one of the most creative fights in the franchise for starters. A large portion of the game is spent in the prison, which is built around Aegean, the Hecatonchirus, which is really cool. I had already pieced together that Ares teleported Kratos' family into his path based on clues in the first game, but it was nice to see confirmation of that when Alecto transformed into the Oracle that made Kratos into the Ghost of Sparta. It's a subtle implication that she was the Oracle and everything up to this point had all been according to their plan. The puzzles are some of the coolest, making you play around with the special items to manipulate time and leave doppelgangers. Sadly, the third and final item is nowhere near as useful outside of scripted bits. And in the year of DMC, Call of Duty Ghosts, Life War, Beyond Two Souls, and Aliens Colonial Marines, it still manages to be one of the better games of that year. Even so, this is a poor excuse of a God of War game and highlights every tired aspect of a franchise in desperate need of reinvigoration. I give God of War Ascension a 4 out of 10. And did I say reinvigorate? Because that's exactly what's up next. Join me as I conclude this God of War series with the 2018 sequel reboot. I'm Mediocrity4, thanks for watching.